All right. We've got at least 30 minutes of Ben Hitchcock Cross. What more could anybody want on a summer's day? All right. Well, we've got something pretty exciting here. We have a brand new complaint. I believe it was just filed on Friday. This is against the Whitefish Bay School District, precisely. Let's see. It is the Whitefish Bay School Board, John Thompson, that's with an E, Amy Levick, and Julie Henningsen. Okay? We'll note that Julie Henningsen and John Thompson are no longer at the district, but Amy Levick is the principal there at Whitefish Bay High School. So, here we go. I am thrilled. This is done by the people at the Wisconsin Education Law Policy Center, Elizabeth Lambert. We had her on here some time ago. All right. Let's pause for where they go. All right, let's do it. Complaint. Plaintiff Shanika White, on her own behalf and on behalf of her minor child, KK, brings this civil rights action against the defendants, Whitefish Bay School Board, former Whitefish Bay School District Superintendent John Thompson, in his individual capacity. Ooh, maybe we'll get a chance to talk about individual and official capacities. Whitefish Bay High School Principal Amy Levick, in her individual capacity, and former Whitefish Bay High School Assistant Principal Julie Henningsen, in her individual capacity, for violation of Miss White and KK's rights under the Equal Protection, Due Process, and Free Speech provisions of the U.S. Constitution, and for defamation in violation of Wisconsin tort law. Let's hear it for pendant or ancillary state claims. Love federal court complaints. Just love them. You ready? KK is a black high school student who lives and goes to school in the Whitefish Bay School District. This action arises from the district's official actions when white students made a false and damaging accusation against KK, motivated by racial animus and their own self-interest. Defendants Thompson, Henningsen, and Levick, collectively defendant administrators. Ooh, I love subtitles. Yes, there's a lot of things to love in the drafting of a complaint, my dear fellows. Conducted an inadequate and biased disciplinary process that subject KK to a frightening police interaction, exclusion from school activities, and a damaging, untrue report in KK's disciplinary record in violations of KK's rights to due process and equal protection of the law. Right? And you know, I've said this time and time again, that people come to me and it's the fact that the government is lying about them that hurts the most. You know, they can terminate me, but I don't like them lying about me. And I think not everybody feels that to the same extent unless you've tried it. Because why is it so bad? It's because it's almost impossible to undo. I mean, you go to a normal person and get it undone fine. But here, and it's the government. It's the imprimatur of the government, meaning the collective power here. Further, when KK's mother, plaintiff Shanika White, tried to speak out about defendant administrators' unfair and discriminatory conduct towards KK, the defendant administrators and defendant Whitefish Bay School Board responded with actions designed to suppress Miss White's speech in violation of the First Amendment. Defendants took these actions pursuant to unofficial district policies authorizing unfair disciplinary practices towards black students and suppression of criticism regarding racial inequality in district schools. Oh, you know, when I see criticism, I'm thinking Democratic criticism. Democratic criticism, subtitles, subgroups, complaints. We're just in paragraph 1. All right. Defendants' actions have caused KK and his mother severe emotional distress and reputational damage, undermining their sense of safety and belonging in the community, and with it, KK's ability to benefit from the opportunities available to him at the school. So I guess that is why we do live reaction sometimes, because that undercuts the giddiness of the moment real quickly. when we think about that these are real people with real lives who have really been harmed here. Through this action, Miss White, you know, my son is about to go to high school here in about a week, and you only get so many days. You only get so many days. So it's important to understand that these are irreparable harms in many senses. Through this action, Ms. White seeks declaratory judgment that the defendant's practices violated the First and 14th Amendments, and injunctions barring the district from continuing those practices, both generally and as applied to KK, equitable relief to restore Ms. White and KK's reputations and KK's access to equal education opportunity, compensatory and punitive damages, and reasonable attorney's fees. You know, I'm a plaintiff's attorney. I obviously have no problem with reasonable attorney's fees. This is, if there wasn't fees here, these cases would not happen. That's 100% accurate. And compensatory and punitive damages. I personally think we often worry too much about what the effect of these punitive or compensatory damages will be on the district. I think the concept there is to reform behavior. That is why we have exemplary or punitive damages. And I think that the goal should be to reform the behavior, not so much to protect the taxpayers. I think that we're kind of out of skew there. That's my opinion. We are going to skip over jurisdiction or venue if you want to look at it proper. Ooh, everybody look at 28 U.S.C. 1367. That's what authorizes pendent state claims. Gotta love it. The parties. You ready? We're going to skip over these guys. Whitefish Bay School District is a public school district located in Whitefish Bay, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. The district's main office is located at 1200 East Fairmount Avenue, Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, 53217. Somebody told me that nobody ever puts zip codes in federal complaints, but not everybody feels the same, apparently. The district is a common school district. That's important. Pursuant to the Wisconsin Constitution and state statutes, operates under the direction of the Whitefish Bay Board of Education, School Board, a 7-member elected school board, which is a defendant in this matter. The school board designates responsibility for the administration of Whitefish Bay to the district administrator or superintendent, a role filled by defendant John Thompson at all times relevant to this complaint. Whitefish Bay operates 2 elementary schools, 1 middle school, Whitefish Bay Middle School. The elementary schools are Richards, otherwise known as Rich Nerds, and Cumberland, otherwise known as Cucumberland. And 1 high school, the Whitefish Bay High School, hereinafter the high school. Defendant John Thompson was a district superintendent until his retirement on or about the end of 2023 school year. He is sued in his individual capacity. We will talk about Monell as that comes up when we talk about their individual actions. At all times relevant to this complaint, he acted under the color of law, smelling 1983 coming, in his individual capacity. He caused or failed to intervene against the discriminatory actions, policies, practice, customs, and deprivations described in this complaint. God, I would put herein. I would definitely say described herein. I would. And I know we're supposed to get off of fancy pants attorney talk, but you only get so many words that are unique to your profession, and herein and hereunto are too precious to throw overboard, in my opinion. Defendant Amy Levick is a principal of the Whitefish Bay High School, and is sued in her individual capacity. At all times relevant to this complaint, she acted under color of law. In her individual capacity, she caused or failed to intervene against the discriminatory policies, practice, customs, and deprivation described in this complaint. Defendant Julie Henningsen was assistant principal of Whitefish Bay High School principal until she left that position at or around the end of 2023-24 school year. I'm noticing a pattern. She is sued in her individual capacity. At all times relevant to this complaint, she acted under color of law. In her individual capacity, she caused or failed to intervene against the discriminatory policies, practice, customs, or deprivations described in this complaint. And there's a video that we've shown here on this channel, and we should link to it, that has Amy Levick talking to the police, the Whitefish Bay police. And this is, Henningsen is the person who, we'll say, spearheaded, for lack of a better word coming to mind, the investigation there. Allegation of facts as to all claims. You ready for this? Oh, KK and his family moved into Whitefish Bay when KK was in an elementary school. Now, that's of tremendous significance. Why, you might ask? Because there's no doubt in my mind that Whitefish Bay treats people who move there in elementary school differently than children who didn't move there. It's also my belief that black children in the high school are sort of treated as if they just newly moved to the Bay no matter what. But hey, KK's mother is a highly respected banker with a leadership role in her company, an active community member, and a deeply involved and caring parent. All right. Miss White moved her family. I'd like to see them dispute that. Miss White moved her family into Whitefish Bay specifically so that KK and her sibling could attend Whitefish Bay's highly regarded schools. I don't think they're alone in that sentiment. KK happens to be a talented athlete and has a deep desire to do well in school and sports. Oh, alliteration. That paragraph's getting a star from Ben. All right, KK's dream is to go to college and play football at the collegiate level. Whoa, all right. Whitefish Bay does not have the most stellar football program. There's just no doubt about that. According to data published by the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, black students make up only about 3% of the student population in Whitefish Bay schools. Black residents make up about 2.7% of the overall Whitefish Bay population, which is why it sometimes has the nickname White Folks Bay, some might say. Oh, this is very interesting. Geographically, most of Whitefish Bay consists of single-family homes, indisputable by me. One neighborhood in the southwest corner of Whitefish Bay, bordered by Santa Monica Avenue to the east, Fairmount Avenue to the north, Lydell Avenue to the west, and Hampton Avenue to the south, consists of apartment and townhouse complexes. That's no question about that. For all sorts of reasons. There's like one other tiny stretch on Henry Clay, and that is it. There may be one other place, but they are, there was some mention, generally speaking, with the town, we'll say town parents on the subject, and they were adamant that they did not want multifamily housing. They wanted single-family housing, and that's it. Which, good or bad, that's what they said. All right, a significantly higher proportion of black residents live in this neighborhood than in any other neighborhoods in Whitefish Bay. Oh, I didn't realize we had more we definitely have neighborhoods in Whitefish Bay. Bam. Miss White, KK, and their family live in this neighborhood and in a townhome in Shoreland Avenue. My niece, when she lived with us, had several friends on that street, which is why I know that. Miss White's sister lives in the same neighborhood with her daughter, KD, who is KK's cousin. That makes sense, too. The 2023-2024 school year was KK's freshman year at Whitefish Bay High School. KK was a member of the freshman football team. All right. MS's harassment of KK. MS has got to be another pupil. During the summer of 2023, KK dated MS, a female student of the district. In summer of 2023, MS was going into 8th grade at Whitefish Bay Middle School. I say yikes because, gosh, I'm glad it's not me. Middle school dating, oh my gosh. Okay, good luck to everybody. Shout out, as they say, to the middle schoolers for sure. Around the start of KK's freshman year, KK broke up with MS. After breaking up with MS, KK asked a different female student, MR, to the homecoming dance at Whitefish Bay High School. MS was angry about the breakup. Jeez. On the evening of Monday, September 4th, MS and another Whitefish Bay school student sent a harassing text message sent harassing text messages to KK and MR. It's hard to keep up with it, but I got it. Sounds like the old girlfriend was sending had a negative interaction with the others, the former boyfriend and the new girlfriend. The messages discussed KK's relationship history with MS and made references, to kissing, sexual activity in a manner clearly intended to cause emotional distress and discomfort to KK and MR. All right. Now, that's not my favorite thing to read, but, luckily there's the school districts who are supposed to talk about it. So, Miss White notified district staff who sent screenshots of the text messages to middle school principal Mike O'Connor. Principal O'Connor did not take any action in responding to receiving the screenshots of the text message. Because that's particularly surprising because normally they would take a lot of action, and based on my understanding, they would take a lot of action. So I wonder what's different about this situation here. Maybe we'll find out. MS continued sending threatening messages to KK, including a threat to publish explicit video of KK and a threat to ruin KK's football season. Yikes. That's what I'm talking about, middle school dating. Okay. MS's threatening and harassing text caused KK to feel anxious and distracted at school, such that he struggled to focus on learning. And I guess I don't want to put anything on middle schoolers. It's like a tough time to be both developing and trying out the real world. That's why I think we have middle school, for example. But hey, as I said, I'm glad it's not me. On Wednesday, September 6th, Miss White emailed Principal O'Connor about the escalating situation. She wrote, "The situation is now spilled over to impacting KK during the school day, as the middle school students are sharing that they intend to ruin his football season, threatened to send apparent videos, in which KK is not a part of, and more. It is bothering KK so much, sir, that he's contacting me during the school day with frustrations of it." So far what I hear is this is a bullying complaint. 100% bullying complaint. And the school is supposed to do like 6-7 things, okay? And probably should have already done it. We'll see. We already know they took no action in response to this. Okay, dang it. I guess we're all on the same page. As we know, per the district's bullying and harassment policy, behavior should not impact the student's ability to learn. This is happening. Bam. That's a good letter. In addition, KK has an IEP to aid his ability to learn effectively. This is a protected student, and you need to get on. You've got some duties here, principal. That's what I'm hearing from this parent here. Very good letter. This is happening. Very, very good letter. Mark it with 2 stars for parent advocacy. Absolutely. Under then current school board bullying policies, there's a footnote that says attached and incorporated by rep. Again, it could have been attached here on too. Just saying. And district level administrators were authorized to take disciplinary action against bullying and harassment that happened off school property based on whether the conduct is determined to so severely disrupt the educational process that it markedly impedes the day-to-day interaction of the school. This is happening. Bam. And moreover, I might add here, that it imposes, my reading of that policy is that it imposes a duty on the school to investigate. Not anything else than that, but at least investigate here. Principal O'Connor did not take any action. Instead, he told Ms. White that since the initial text message had been sent at night and did not have a direct correlation at school, it seemed like a matter best handled between the parents, or if the level of concern with the Whitefish Bay Police Department. Okay, so that's him declining to take any action. I think we've got that clear. And he's saying, hey, I'm decided that it's not a school matter, so therefore the issue of bullying policy doesn't arise. I don't know if there's more to that, but the key question that I would want to hear a response on, possibly as a parent, would be something like, I have determined that this is not affecting the school day because of such and such actions that I've seen and such that I've taken and such evidence that I've seen in the course of those actions. I don't see that here, so that's possibly an issue. Ms. White emailed Principal O'Connor again, reiterating that the MS had threatened to impact KK in his sports and that her threats were affecting his ability to learn at school. You know, that's, again, sounds like proper parent advocacy to me. She also expressed concern that there might be an issue at a game where KK is a student athlete. All right. Principal O'Connor replied that there are limits to the issues that the school can be involved in with our given policies. While that's true, I think can be no question that what's going on here is an exercise of discretion on Principal O'Connor's part. And that problem might be is if there's other situations where he's gone beyond what he describes as the limit here, there may be some questions that need to be answered. On or around Thursday, September 7th, KK went to speak with the high school assistant principal, Julie Henningsen, because he's now a brand new freshman. KK told Henningsen that MS was threatening him, that it was affecting his ability to learn at school, and that he was concerned that MS would cause a disruption during football. Ms. Henningsen told KK that because the text had been sent after school hours, the district would not do anything, or would do nothing, depending on how you look at it. Realizing that the district was not going to offer any help, Ms. White sent text messages to MS asking her to stop harassing KK. That's going to change the tables real quick, I imagine. Ms. White also asked to speak with MS's mother, but MS ignored Ms. White's request. On the evening of September 8th, the Whitefish Bay varsity football team played a home game at Whitefish Bay High School. They'll do that frequently. On homecoming. Ms. White, KK, and MR all attended the game because the public are all invited. I don't remember where I was circa day that, but possibly there. During the game, MS began following KK and MR around the stadium. Like many schools, there's a big set of bleachers, and there's like an area where the teenagers all stand around and, what do they say? Play games on their phone and talk things, say bad things about each other. All right. KK called Miss White and asked for support. That has got to be something. If a freshman boy is calling his mom and asking a child, asking her to help him. Now, on the other hand, let's recall that this is a black child at the Whitefish Bay High School, and he may feel like he's got less agency than others, or may even been told that he's not to, confront anybody. So maybe you would go and call your mother in such a circumstance like that. I don't know. In response to KK's call, Miss White walked with MR to the stadium exit so that MR could safely leave the game. Oh my goodness. Miss White then texted MS and asked to speak with her mother. MS's mother and other family members approached Miss White in an aggressive and threatening manner. That sounds awesome. MS's mother told Miss White that she had a gun. I'm going to guess that meant that MS's mother said that MS's mother had a gun, but I'm not totally clear. Miss White, I think we got clarity now. Miss White asked nearby police officers to help defuse the situation. Miss White told police that MS's mother had referenced the gun. Following this incident, Assistant Principal Henningsen interviewed Miss White, MS's mother, and MR's mother. Miss White reiterated the following facts to Miss Henningsen. One, that MS had sent a threatening message to KK and MR in the preceding days. Two, that district officials had told Miss White to address the issue directly with MS's parents. And three, that Miss White had attempted to communicate directly with MS and her mother about the harassment, but had not succeeded in resolving the issue. Four, that MS had followed MR at the game, and made threatening gestures. That Miss White had attempted to speak with MS's mother at the game to resolve the issue. And six, that MS's mother had made threats involving a gun. I got to say two things about this, which is like, it's tough enough to be dating, preteen, teen dating situation as it is. But what, like, seriously, parents? Seriously? Seriously? Even if half of this is true, it's like, why, what, and why, and how, what? Because I think we're on like time number 5 that the Miss White is asking the district for help. MR's mother also corroborated to Assistant Principal Henningsen that MS had sent threatening messages to KK and MR in the days before the game. Assistant Principal Henningsen did not take any action to discipline MS or protect KK from further threats or harassment from MS. Instead, with complete disregard for both Miss White and KK's many efforts to obtain the district's assistance in stopping MS's conduct from escalating in the school setting, and for district personnel explicit instructions to Miss White to address the issue directly with MS's parents, Assistant Principal Henningsen indicated to Miss White that she believed Miss White had behaved inappropriately with attempting to speak with MS's mother at the game. Sounds awesome. Assistant Principal Henningsen also emailed Miss White a screenshot of text messages between MS and KK she had obtained from MS's parents. So we now know that this district is communicating with MS's parents, but they're not communicating with KK's parents, despite the fact that KK is asking for help. Awesome, sawsome, or possum. All right. And the text messages, KK begged MS to stop bothering him, and MR and expressed fear that MS's threats and hurtful conduct towards KK's friends would ruin his high school career. However, Assistant Principal Henningsen presented the text messages to Miss White in a manner suggesting Henningsen believed they reflected culpability or misconduct by KK. I'm just guessing the black kid that's a victim is now getting punished as a perpetrator. I can't imagine if we've ever heard that story before. MS continues to harass KK because, assuming all this is true, why wouldn't somebody who's not punished continue to do the things that they're not punished for? Harassment of KK, including posting an intimate video of him on social media, was going on to high school grounds for no reason but to conspicuously watch him. Okay. I think I read that wrong, but we'll keep going. On November 3rd, Ms. White filed a harassment complaint against MS using the district's online harassment complaint form pursuant to school board anti-harassment policy. The school board harassment investigation procedures provided that the Title IX coordinator was to provide a written acknowledgement to the complainant upon receiving his written harassment complaint, and that an administrator was to conduct an initial screening, and if the complaint was determined not to involve conduct that violated the district's anti-harassment rules, notify the complainant of the determination. There's a lot of ifs, but there's some things here. Okay, those are all the policies. Miss White did not receive any written acknowledgement or notice of a screening regarding the harassment complaint that she had filed against MS. Bam. All right. Well, I'm going to pause it here for a little while. I guess the main questions is I'm a little shook up. I'll admit that. The main questions here that I think we need to ask ourselves is, do you feel, just on the knowledge and information that we have, that so far, to me, I guess I would say we don't have a lot of race is not, we don't know that that's an issue yet. We know that the Miss White and her family are African American. We know that. I don't think we know really the race of the other pupils yet. But I think we do see some sort of astonishing behavior that I think everybody would categorize as bullying, and then the school district reacting in a way that, I mean, it's astonishing to me that they would treat this bullying as something other than that. And in fact, what it kind of looks like is that they're blaming the victim here, that's KK, from what now again, we assume that everything in here is true. It's a public document. We're reading it. I don't know. These aren't my allegations. But assuming that all that's true, that's what I'm getting so far. Man, I am still kind of shook up. But hey, we never said we wouldn't shake you up. We just said, stick with us. We'll keep you informed, if you know what I'm talking about. So, I love complaints, but these are real people with real problems and real high school careers. So, stick with us. We'll keep you informed.